thanks for joining me. Now, this is part 2 of the Crosman 1077 refurb job, or put back together job, to be more honest. Now, if you remember back to part 1, or if you haven't seen it, I'll put a link in, or even a little bit into it. And I was given by my mate Pete down Staveley where his old 1077 because it weren't working right. He'd stripped it down, and apparently he said he'd lost a spring or a screw or a couple of springs in a screw, I don't know. But he went, "Ew," presented me a carrier bag full of bits, and that was last summer. Now, I've had it stripped down since last summer because I've had other things to do. This is my own, this ain't the one. This is my own one, what I had before. And I've obviously added a bipod and a telescopic sight to it as well. And I've got, like, you've seen this one before. This is my one, the Crosman 1077. But this one now has started hissing a little bit. When you first replace the CO2 canister, it's hissing that little bit longer. So I'm wondering, I'll see how it goes. But I'm thinking I might need to change the seals on this bugger. The pain in the ass. I'll show you. Let's have a look. Let's get on with waffling on. Right. So just to remind you from last time. As a reminder from last time, that's how I left it, stripped in bits and pieces. Luckily, I've still got them all. So I'm putting it back together now, and it's fiddly as fuck because that trigger mechanism, you got to put a slight amount of pressure on it to get the other key. Oh, shit! Yeah, just see what happened there. It's under pressure. So I can put the other side of the casing back on and lining everything back up. There's that many little bits and bobs, but I'll do it. I've been at it for half an hour. I'm going to have a cup of coffee. I know definitely now how it all goes back together. It's just a bastard. And I think I've sussed it. I'm going to have a coffee in 5 minutes, and then I'll put it back together, and then I'll show you the rest of it. Phew! The stock's alright. I think what Pete's done on this stock, he's put a spacer on it. It looks nice. It's only about 5mm though. Why he's done it, I don't know. Maybe just for the look. Don't know. Maybe he just needed that extra 5mm for his eye, because it's quite a short rifle. They are nice though. They're lovely to shoot, as you've seen, like my one. But you get through pellets and CO2 like nobody's business, but it's bloody good fun, and that's what it's about, innit? So I'll bring you back together when I've got that bugger put back. When it's all back together again. I just love fiddling. If it weren't for these lockdowns, I wouldn't have got this done. So right, let's get it back together. Right, so that's it. It's back together, but what a pain in the ass that was. Fiddly as fucking fuck. You can see what I mean now. Peter's added a butt extension on. Yeah, I thought he had. He's got slightly longer arms than me. Sasquatch. If you're listening, Pete. So yeah, it's gone back together nicely. I think there may have been a spring missing, Pete. And I think some other bits and pieces of mine have got mixed in, but I put it all back together. And it seems to be functioning okay dry, safety cart's trigger and everything else. So, all that remains is to stick a CO2 in and get the hiss of happiness and the magazine and fire some rounds and see what happens, eh? I'm confident I'll put it back together right. And I sort of reversed engineered mine a few months back and had a look at mine, and yeah, I've got there eventually. We're just fiddly snapping it back in, but there you go. Happy days. So hopefully this will be functioning very shortly. I'll see you in a second or two. So we're all back together. I've done a dry functions test on it. Everything as it should be on the 1077 there. So all that remains is to add a CO2 cartridge. I'll put a little dab of silicone oil on it. Always helps. So put that in. And hopefully we should hear the hiss of happiness and nothing else. I don't know if you'll hear it when it pops in. There it goes. There we go. Lovely. Now my one, it started hissing longer when you put it in. It should only be a hiss, and that means you're in and tighten it. But on my one, I'm getting a little bubble afterwards. So I think maybe I'm getting a leaky valve. But once I put it on and fire a couple of rounds, it's okay. Anyway, enough waffling. I'll stick a magazine on, fire a couple of rounds live, and see what happens. So far so good, I've just fired 5 off, happy days. That's it, I'll get that, we'll check that out. Happy? Now we're another functioning rifle. Happy bloody days. Oh, I got a badly fed pellet on that one, that's my fault. And this batch of pellets I've got, they're terrible in this CO2. They're a bit sloppy, they tend to start sliding out. I thought they were loose fitting, but anyway, it's working and I'm happy as a pig in shit. Now this thing's not bloody crowding my workspace up in my man cave in bits everywhere. It's put back together and it works, it functions as it should. Fucking happy days. Cheers Pete. Catch you on the next one. Hopefully it's not as frustrating.